Alright, let's do this. Before I start talking about the games, in my Confidence Pick'em League, I am fifth, tied for fifth, with 313 confidence points. I will say that I am only 31 and 17. A bunch of people at the top are 36 and 12, so they're picking the games better than me by a considerable amount. In fact, I'll say it. Everybody in the top 16 or so is currently picking better than me. I'm just distributing my confidence points better, so I'm currently tied for fifth. But I'll take it any way I can get it. I do need to start picking the games a little more tighter because a lot of people are picking better than me. But I'm fifth in confidence points right now, so that's awesome, and hopefully I can keep it up. And also, thanks to Dallas's pick six last night, I did lose a bet, but I did win both my fantasy leagues on that pick six. Well, I won one of them. The other one, I just was able to separate from my opponent more. But I'm 2-1 in both my fantasy leagues. I think I'm screwed this year in fantasy because I drafted guys like Brady, Tomlinson, Gore, and Portis, but I'm gonna see what I can do. So that's how things are going for me. This week in football, Falcons-Patriots, a little disappointed that the Falcons could only put up 10 points. That defense really isn't that good. They don't have Gerard Mayo. I don't know if it's fully the reason why they lost, but that's a high-powered Atlanta offense. They should really be able to just steamroll teams with that offense, and to only put up 10 points is really underwhelming to me. Maybe they're not a top 5 team yet, but losing to the Patriots maybe not so shameful, but it's a game that coming in, they had a chance to win, and it didn't happen. And New England kind of ran all over them, and some guy on ESPN said this, and I thought he had a good point. This Patriots offense, the one that ran all over the Falcons like they did, was the offense that won 3 Super Bowls. The Patriots throwing 50 touchdowns a year, throwing 6 touchdowns a game. That team did not win Super Bowls. They put up great stats, they had great seasons, but they never won the Super Bowl. So, in all honesty, maybe this is for the best, as it turns out. I mean, when you think last year the Patriots really had to scale back their offense, and they didn't make the playoffs, but maybe going back to that kind of football is good for them, because when Brady was throwing 50 touchdowns a year, it was like, well, the rest of the team can screw up, make mistakes, not do their job, and they'd still win because Brady would just throw it to Moss and they'd be fine. Now they kind of have to go back to that mode where they need to be careful. Everybody needs to do their job or they're not going to win. Maybe. Titans and Jets, I've watched this game. I know the Jets gave up a couple touchdowns. They did give up some yards here and there, but that defense is sick. The way they bring blitzes, Chris Jenkins is a complete monster in the middle. The linebackers getting into the backfield and making plays, and they don't even have Calvin Pace back yet. Kerry Rhodes making plays. That's a really good defense, and I don't know how much it is the personnel, because I really think that Rex Ryan has those guys playing out of their minds, but that's a special defense. And I don't know where else to go with that, but Mark Sanchez impressed me. He didn't play great. For both quarterbacks, there were long periods of time in this game where both of them would just throw like 7 incompletions in a row, but Sanchez did what he needed to do. He made a couple big throws, and sometimes that's all you need to do. And in this game, he got done what he needed to do. The Jets could not run the ball, so it was all about Sanchez, and he did his thing. And for Tennessee, this goes to all other 0-3 teams in the league right now. Your season's over. I understand that Tennessee has talent. I understand that they've played well. They've lost by a grand total of 13 points this year, but I'm sorry, but if you're 0-3, if you were a good team, you would have won one of those games. This goes to all 0-3 teams. Carolina, Cleveland, St. Louis, I think Kansas City, Tampa Bay. If you were a good team, you would have won one of those games. You didn't. So, I'm sorry. Bye-bye. If you're 0-3, start making vacation plans for January. And this is not trash talk. This is just how it is. I'm sorry. I really am. But it was a good game. Titans hung tough, came back, but was not quite enough. Ravens and Browns. I really missed on this Brady Quinn thing. I really thought he would be capable, and he just looks atrocious out there. I still think he may have a future in the NFL, but he's got to show something sometime, and it's just completely unbelievable how bad he is. And that Cleveland offense is pathetic all around. The offensive line, the running game, the passing game. I mean, they really got nothing, but I'm really disappointed in how Quinn's playing. I really thought he would be better than that. I Maybe he just needs a better team. We'll probably see later down the road, but I'm kind of disappointed in Quinn so far. And honestly, Derek Anderson deserves a shot to start. And as for Baltimore, they got playmakers. Like I said, people don't think that they have playmakers because they're the Ravens and they're so used to them not. But Flacco, Ray Rice, even some of those receivers, they get it done. And right now they are a good amount above the rest of the AFC North. And they've been dominating teams. I mean, I know they kind of hung close with Kansas City, but that was very fluky. I don't put any stock into that. Just, yeah. Washington and Detroit. I so thought about going for Detroit too. I really did. I think we all did. But at the end, I thought, you know what? Washington's a much better team. Well, they're not. I thought Washington this year would be average. I thought they'd lose to a lot of good teams, beat all the bad teams, maybe upset a couple teams, maybe lose to a couple bad teams. But that team is atrocious. And really, that kind of stuff, it's not excusable when you have an owner that's willing to spend all that money and a franchise that puts so much stock into being successful. It's not okay. So I don't know, but one silver lining is this season might be enough to get Jason Campbell out of Washington. Like I said in a previous video, Jason Campbell, in my opinion, is a career tease. He will always be just good enough to keep his job, never good enough to lead a good team. Maybe a really bad season will get him pushed out of Washington, because right now he's headed for it. And honestly, at this point, I kind of think he deserves it. And, Jim Zorn, if they lose next week to Tampa, I don't see how he's not fired, even though it would be disastrous for the Redskins because he has so many tasks. He has so many, jobs on this team: quarterback coach, head coach, offensive coordinator. And if he loses next week, I say get rid of him. I mean, of course I like the guy for obvious reasons, but the dude's not getting it done. So props to Detroit, got your first win. Very happy for you guys. I really am. I mean, no fan deserves to watch their team be that bad. Green Bay, St. Louis, 36-17. I know Green Bay gave up some points, a lot more points than the Rams usually score, but I don't want to put too much in that because, they game planned for Mark Bulger and then Kyle Bowler came in, and that can mix some things up. So the main concern I came out of this game is Leonard Little was destroying his tackle. So Green Bay's tackles, they're not getting it done. Alan Barber was getting burned by Ogunleye all day. And now their left tackle, I heard he was hurt. I don't know what's going on there, but they're not protecting their quarterback right now. And next week, Jared Allen is going to destroy Aaron Rodgers if they don't get that figured out. So that's my main concern from this. This Green Bay team does not look like a Super Bowl contender. They do look like a wild card team, I'll say that. I mean, they look like they could pick up the wild card spot right now. I don't think they're a bad team, but they can't protect their quarterback. What are you going to do against DeMarcus Ware or Jared Allen or, even Ogunleye on the Bears? I know they already beat the Bears, but Ogunleye was destroying Rodgers for most of the day. And, that just says nothing about guys even like Trent Cole, Justin Tuck, O.C. Umenora. Just about anybody they'll play on the way to the playoffs. It could get ugly, but I'm not going to jump off them quite yet. I still think they could win the division, but they need to get their tackles ready to play. And as for St. Louis, another 0-3 team, bye. I had one Rams fan talking some smack after the Week 1 game. I guess we won't be seeing you anymore, so bye.